Yeah.
Hello, viewers. Welcome to ValueAnswers.in platform once again, and it's India's upcoming business media platform. And today we have with us Mr. Shashank Gupta, who is the founder for Norm. It's a food tech startup. So we will talk to Mr. Shashank and ask him about his startup and his journey so far. Over to you, Mr. Shashank, and welcome to the show, Startup Talk Show.
Thanks, Ashish. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Shankar, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of Norm. Norm is a sustainable food tech enterprise startup based out of Mumbai. We are a very early stage startup, a 2-year-old startup. Uh, and I myself come from engineering domain. I did my graduation from IIT Guwahati. Then worked with a couple of startups before planning and thinking about starting my own, and formally started this startup in August 2018. Now when we started, it was not such a clear I would say vision, the whole idea. We just wanted to do something in the sustainable space, that hey, let's build some sustainable packaging alternatives of existing plastic yeah, menace that we have. But slowly and steadily, we started taking a lot of pivots that hey, sustainable solutions may not be this answer of all the problems, because as a consumer you really don't care if your product is made of plastic or paper, because you want a value added a product at the end of the day. And
Right.
if you're using a plastic product, and if you're using a biodegradable product which looks like plastic, for a consumer, if the price is say really the deterring factor or determining factor, people will always go back to the plastic. So that is where we started taking pivot, that instead of just building a sustainable alternative, we need to add value for the user, so that that price delta is justifiable. I mean, as a user, as a user, say you or me, we should always be able to value what we are getting. And ultimately, if you have to throw things away, whether it be it a plastic or a recyclable or a sustainable solution, I don't think users will be willing to pay for that delta, which majority of the sustainable solutions have. That is when we thought that instead of just having sustainable solution, we need to have added value to the user, which in our case, we started building edibility on top of it, where we said that, hey, instead of building a sustainable solution, we'll build edible sustainable solution. And the line that we draw, where we say that we are different from other people, is we are not a packaging or a sustainable front company. We are a food first company, where our approach is that we want to create an amazing food product, which by its essence would be 100% biodegradable, would be 100% sustainable, but it will always be a kick-ass tasty product, so that a consumer will always come back. I mean, you eat pizza because you find it tasty, right? So that's the ethos that we have built the whole product and the company on. That it has to be tasty, then only it's edible, sustainable packaging solution. So that is where we have tried creating the first product, which is flavored edible drinking straw. It comes in 6 flavors. You have vanilla, you have strawberry, lemon, mint. We did not have coffee and chocolate, but bigger hospitality players came to us and said that, hey, how about you build a coffee flavor for us? How about you build a chocolate flavor for us? And that's how now we have 6 flavors in our portfolio. But overall, even to this day, we are very R&D centric and R&D focused company, and we keep on doing the R&D to make the product and make it much better. Because here we may be sitting in India, but we are solving for the global problem, to be very honest. And within 6 or 7 months of launch, we already have a presence in 10 plus countries, and people are loving what we have built. What we are trying to do here is that we're trying to better the product at the same price, probably reduce the price even further, so that the delta or the resistance of the price is really low, and users can very easily transmission from one solution, which is a plastic straw, to an edible straw with no resistance. So yeah, so that's Norm in I would say in a small 2 minutes intro, I would say.
Great, great, amazing. When you in fact thought of the startup, so what exactly came to your mind in terms of that this thing I have to solve this problem. So how exactly you in fact you thought of this idea?
Yeah, so again, it's my responsibility and honest responsibility to be very upfront about it. It was not a well thought of step while I was quitting my job.
Okay.
The startup happened as an accident, to be very honest. When I was moving back from Mumbai to my natives in Varanasi, I thought that, hey, I'll join my dad's business. He has a small logistics business. In fact, I tried going to his operational office couple of days. He himself said that this is the kind of work which is the most rudimentary work. You would not like it here because I know the kind of work that you do. And I myself was little, I would say, less thrilled about the work that I thought that I would be putting myself through. So that is where the whole thing happened, right? I left my job. I never wanted to go for another job, so I did not have any backup before quitting. I just
Okay.
thought that, yeah, I'm gonna go back to my family, spend a couple of months, and then I'll see what I have to do. I started traveling. I took a lot of trips to Uttarakhand, started traveling to Delhi as well. Met a lot of friends whom I had lost touch after the college. Went back home, took sweet time of say 2 months before starting to think that what I really want to do. Meanwhile, my current co-founder Simran, she was already hustling and working on her own organic cosmetics with
Okay.
sustainable packaging. And of course, we were talking even before I quit my job. And she said that, "Look, you don't have a job. Your dad is not going to let you join his business. Uh, and how about you try help me build the business around the whole product." And that is when I thought that I started looking the sustainable space in much more with a finer lens. I would say
Right.
that, what is the benefit or what is the future of sustainable solutions. I was not too thrilled about the cosmetics part, but sustainable packaging is what kind of intrigued me. But back then, I had a lot of ideas. To be very honest, I had 7, 8 ideas that I thought that I might give 2, 3 months to say one of these ideas and then see if there is a point where I feel that I can get started. But this sustainable packaging happened. Primarily it was an accident, and then once I jumped in, I was like all in, and then started from there.
Great, great. So now let's also talk about that in terms of the industry scenario. Like you are into edible straws, and you are also into edible spoons, and a lot of other things as well. So how is the overall environment when you have to talk about in terms of in terms of competitors and your how you are managing it?
So, first of all, we right now only have edible straws in our portfolio. Of course, we would be diversifying and building more products. A couple of them are going to be the first of its type, sort of a product focusing on kids and other demographics. But overall, yes, there is a good number of competitions available in India and across the world. A couple of really good players in say Europe, Central Europe. Some of them is in Southeast Asia as well. Uh, but like I said, right, so the biggest differentiation that we see and that we draw ourselves amongst all the competitor is that we are a food first company, and majority of the competitors are sustainable first company. Although for us, sustainability is always the high priority, but it's the side effect of what we are building. It's not the primarily effect. We want to build a food first product so that a consumer loves the product for its taste, not for the fact that it's biodegradable. That's why I should adopt it. So classic example is rice straw, pasta straw, right? They have been around for so many years, I would say. But the bigger problem that I see is almost 100% of the pasta straws are thrown away, right? Nobody eats it. It's made out of rice flour, durum wheat, tapioca, starch, and so many other food ingredients. So essentially, you are just throwing away the food, right? There is absolutely nothing that you're doing in the name of sustainability. You're creating more net negative effect on the environment than you are doing anything in the favor of sustainability. So that is where we believe that create an awesome food product. That is where people will not throw things away. It's like creating an synonymous of ice cream cone, right? In an essence, if you see, ice cream cone is just a container that holds your ice cream, but people eat it. Nobody thinks about throwing away their cone, right? So much to so, I remember as a kid, I used to take 2, 3 cones just as an extra cone, right, from our ice cream vendor.
Yeah.
So that's the analogy that we draw, and that's the ethos we try to build our product into. That the product should become the part of the drink. Say your coffee straw should become a part of your cold coffee. Similarly, your vanilla straw should become a part of your vanilla milkshake. So that it just becomes a snack for your beverage, solves your problem of a novelty, gives you a better experience of beverage consumption. At the same time, it's biodegradable. So even if you choose not to eat it, it's just gonna disappear in the environment.
Great, amazing. So you also said that you are there in almost 10 countries across the world.
Yes.
So if we have to talk about market, so which market you find is the most exciting market, and how's the response in fact in India as well?
So the way we look at it, we see that India might be a little behind its sustainability curve. Here, like I said, Indian market is very price sensitive, right? Even a small price increase is going to reduce your volume. I mean, that's the generic rule, right? That's the rule of thumb that if you increase the price, the volume will drastically, fall down. And that's the reason, right, that Maggie hasn't changed its price from rupees 10 to 15, even though they have reduced their quantity from 100 grams to 75 grams, but price still remains the same. So our country is really price sensitive. So our product, we believe, maybe a little ahead of its time for Indian market. That is why we started exploring European and North American market, where people are really sensitive regarding sustainability. At the same time, they are very welcoming towards a new product which solves a lot of their problems, be it a sustainable problem, be it their experience for the food and beverage consumption. So answering your question, North America and European market is really the market to be for us right now. But
Okay.
we see the Indian market picking up very rapidly because we have seen surge in Indian orders as well, from a specific pockets of the demography or the geography. But overall, right now, we believe that North America and Europe is a bigger market for us, and probably after 12 months of the time, India will follow the lead.
Great.
Yeah.
So when we now let's talk about the like how you are trying to reach your customers and how you're trying to promote your brand, because it is very important that you get that that desired demand for your product. So how you're trying to reach those customers now?
Yeah. So again, coming from I would say fairly a tech domain, I definitely did not have any experience in food domain, and neither I had any connections with say any sort of distributors or any sort of how do I say a promoter on this in this domain. Initially, I would say it was all through LinkedIn. It was all through a couple of other platforms, say f6s.com and other places where it was a constant hustle of getting in touch with someone who would place that bet of ordering sample from that particular territory and trying the product, and then giving it a thumbs up. That was something that I personally did extensively, probably back in November, December 2019, and January and February, where it was a point where I made it a point that I have to reach out to say at least 30, 40, or 50 people every day. And it was purely cold call, cold email. Couple of good things happened. We got through Startup India PR award program. We won that, and we got featured in Springwise and couple of really important publication. We got featured in Food Hacks, which is a very well-renowned food blogging or a food platform. So those things really helped us gaining the international recognition. I would say in a very small manner, but it was enough for to kickstart the engine. And we started getting inquiries, and we started converting them. And one thing led to other. A lot of word of mouth happened, and people started reaching out through the website itself. And even now, if you search edible straws, we always rank one on Google. So so is the power of free PR that we got in the early stage, and that's how we have been gotten the opportunity. Good thing is that almost everyone who tries the product instantly gets hooked to the product, and the fact that we continuously try to improve and better the product is where people are sticking as of now with us.
Great, great. So now post now we have this pandemic COVID, and there has been a lot of impact across businesses and across industries. So how are you trying to cope as a business with this challenge, and which other market challenges you are facing as a startup?
Yeah. So, as you know, COVID has affected Horeca or hospitality business the worst way possible, right? I mean, all your hotels are shut, or your cafes are shut. You keep on hearing that Starbucks is shutting these many outlets, CCD shutting these many outlets. We are primarily a B2B company right now, and our main target market is this Horeca segment. So, of course, the blow for us was phenomenal, beyond something that I can explain to you right now. Uh, but one very positive thing that has happened is uh, we try to project ourselves that. So look at it this way, right? Now your dine-ins are definitely on all-time low. You don't go to restaurant to eat or consume a beverage, but what you do, you sit at home and order via Zomato and Swiggy. And this is happening across the world, right? You have DoorDash in US, you have Gojek in all these Southeast Asian countries. Now what happens is everyone is kind of rushing towards creating a host kitchen or delivery platforms for them, be it PVR, be it any other bigger outlets. Now imagine a scenario after 6 months that everyone is serving cold coffee, and they're like, say, in Mumbai alone you have 8,000 restaurants and everybody is on Zomato. Now every restaurant is going to try sell you a cold coffee, and now you'll have a price range. Any coffee is not going to come below 120 bucks. So for 120 rupees of a coffee, cold coffee, you would say that, hey, how about I go to CCD and take the cold coffee of 150 bucks? So for a restaurant, it will become quintessential to provide an experience to their consumer. It will not just come down to coffee, because if I have to really order 150 bucks for coffee, I'll always go to CCD or always go to a well-renowned cafe. It can be Coffee by DiBella or any other brand. We believe in a very small essence, our straws are going to give that one added experience to your consumer, because you go to Starbucks and CCD for experience, not primarily for the food. So we call ourselves an experience enhancer of food and beverage, product, and that is how we have been placing ourselves post pandemic. And also, pandemic has lead to the rise of disposability. You see that it's all single use now, right? I mean, wherever you go, people just use and throw things away. So definitely, waste generation has kind of risen up. I don't know by how many percentage, but definitely there is a big rise. We believe that with a product like us, even if it's disposable, it's 100% biodegradable. So that also solves the problem of waste generation and waste accumulation across across so many months. So that is where we have kind of pivoted our positioning, and it has definitely helped us.
Great, great. So with almost 4 or 5 years down the line, and you just started this venture, and now you are in your presence in various countries across world. So I'm sure that that now you would be getting a lot of interest from investors as well, and they would be open for investing in your startup. So how's the response so far, and are you looking to in fact scale up?
Yeah, so as a bootstrap startup, running the show is really difficult, right? You have to be very, very careful with your spend, very careful with what you're getting, what you're spending. But we started looking out for investment in February, when we were sure that, hey, we have gotten this many orders, our contracts are through, we have signed contracts, we have raised such orders across so many nations. So we just need investors to start scaling up and start fulfilling these orders. But then in the first month of the pursuit of our investment, COVID hit, and majority of the investors who were almost through for investing in us kind of couldn't go through, because their own portfolio was kind of broken back then. They wanted to support their portfolio, and we understand. I mean, it's better to say what you have than to venture out into something new. And COVID was completely a train wreck for us, right? But right now we are in a much better shape, and of course we are looking for investment. And I'm obliged to not speak much on this, because we already have a few of the deals which we would be closing this month itself. But have more to follow on this in the coming months. But post COVID, we have definitely looked stronger in terms of company and overall, team as well.
That's great. That's great. So now, would like to ask you in terms of your vision, like, where do you see your startup in next 3 years, 4 years down the line, and how you foresee, your company reaching and, achieving that milestone and that goal?
Yeah. So this is one liner that I would want to start this answer with is what we say that Norm is a company which is equal to built in India, made for the world. So we believe that whatever solution we are building, it is going to solve for a lot of global issues. Primarily, you say straws, spoons, and other products that we have in the pipeline, and that is for a very simple reason, right? We believe the kind of product that we have built. As of now, we enjoy the fact that we are the only one in the whole world which has made flavored edible plant-based drinking straw. Of course, it's going to take a lot of effort to build that supply chain across so many countries, so many nations and continents. This is the bigger priority that we have right now. But in 5 years of time, I would say we want to be in Starbucks, we want to be in Burger King, we want to be in McDonald's, and we want to be in the major QSRs and 5 stars. So that's the aim. And we know we can get there with the kind of product, the pricing, and the tech that we have built. So yeah, that's the aim that we have, that Norm has is global.
That's great. That's great. And lastly, just I would like to ask you if you would like to give some tips to the budding startups. So what would that?
Classes for budding startups, to be very honest.
But I must say, people who are already on this line and they are trying to venture out and do something of their own. So any kind of a tip which you would like to give to them?
One thing that I've really seen myself grow into is my ability to hear no. That is the only tip that I can say. Is the more no's you get, the more amount of rejections you face. It's only going to make you stronger. Even till now, I really don't have the count, but even from on the investment part, we've had more than 100 rejections. It includes everything, right, from meetings to your emails to your video calls. So rejections are only going to make you stronger. Initially, it may look that rejections are a testament to the fact that you're doing something wrong. But as far as you're firm on what you're building, always be open to the feedback. That hey, people will have feedback. But once you are firm to your decision, I think rejections are only going to make you stronger. And if you're sitting on the fence, take that 10 seconds of split courage and jump into it. As simple as that.
Amazing, great. So thank you very much, Shashank, and it was lovely to have you on the startup talk show, and we look forward to see your startup reaching your goal, and we'll keep on interacting with you, and we once again wish you all the best.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Ashish. Thank you so much for having me, and look forward to talking to you again in the future.
Sure, sure.
Bye bye. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great day. Bye bye.